Hi there, I'm Joanne from TrueAuthenticPower.com from Tapping.me, and I'm also the creator of the program Catapulting to Confidence. I am excited to do this audio recording today because it's moving me so much that I had to come right down after an awareness that I got and do this recording. So here's the scoop. All of the coaches that deal with energy work, we all have our own stuff. It's not like our lives are all rosy and peachy throughout every aspect of our life. Sometimes it certainly is, but when we're hitting our own blocks, there is nothing for me personally that drives me more crazy than knowing what I know, knowing the miracles that I know that can happen when you change an energy or belief or however you do that. But when I can't change my own and I'm so stuck, oh my goodness, it drives me crazy because I know what's possible. So here's the scoop. So I've been doing some of my own energy work lately because I have just been feeling so resistant to so many things. You name it. And my first reaction was, no, can't do that because, no, can't do that because, and I hated that feeling. I saw what I was doing, but I couldn't seem to change it either. And I was working with a coach myself, and I was telling her about this is a big deal for me. Everything I go near, I find a reason not to do it. It's such a resistant pattern. Help me break it apart. And while we did do some blocking things that were breaking it apart, I ended up realizing through a series of other things, it's amazing how the universe and things will show up to support you and help you. So there was a script that I saw about resistance, and it wasn't an audio, it wasn't a video, and I decided to do my own version of it. And as I was getting to why am I resisting, what's going on, it really hit me that I have not had two different distinctions or two different aspects of looking at change. I clumped change all in one category and I associated it with horrific stuff. So anytime I've been going near a change, I've been pulling up that block left and right. Nope, don't do that. Nope, don't do that. Because in my subconscious, I have registered change as being horrific. So here's how things unfolded. I've mentioned this before in other audios. I was very successful in sales, and I would say things like, you don't think I can do it? Like, watch me. Now, I would say that in my mind. I wouldn't necessarily say that out loud, but I had that in my energy to say, you don't think I can do it? You just watch me. I would say things like, I don't know how I'm going to get this client, but somehow I'm going to have this work. It's going to be mine. And I was so congruent and so matter of fact, it just created change. It created manifestation. So I went from being that to a whole boatload of trauma and tragedy, people getting ill and dying, my dog dying, losing my job, becoming a caretaker, which I never wanted to do. It was such an influx of pain, but that's what I linked change to because that's in the forefront of my mind. It's causing me the most distress. I wasn't thinking about how I had created change back when by what I would say, what I would do. All those horrific changes that took place put me into such a bad space where I was no longer able to have the confidence that I used to have about my abilities. They're still there. And when I get into certain aspects of my business, they're very strong. But in other aspects of my business of going forward that could create change that I perceive could cause me trouble, I wasn't seeing the distinction of when I create the flow. When it got created for me, those things, might have happened from my subconscious programming of how difficult, and I'm sure they did because I've worked a lot on my beliefs, but they were unconscious to me at the time. I didn't realize the trauma and tragedy and how I was coping with it was part of my beliefs and loops. Because until something shows up, sometimes you don't even know it's there. Until it causes a problem, you don't even know how it got there or what, and at the time that all of that was happening, I was fairly new to energy work. So I didn't have a clue about how you can subconsciously program. I had an idea about it, but I never really understood it. Certainly not at all like I do now with beliefs and energy and all that knowledge that I've gained. My point is, at the time that all hell broke loose, I was not in a place to realize what I know now. And the distinction between change can be good or change was horrific for me, because that was still so ingrained and I was fighting against, I don't want any more horrific. I don't want any more problems. I don't want any more pain. I can't deal with it anymore. I don't want it. You see and hear the words that were associated with that, but it goes much deeper than the words. Those events were traumatic for me. They were not just words and events. When you go through some situation that has a huge, gigantic, horrible impact on you, it registers in your mind, and anytime you get near those combination of feelings, you can go into overdrive in a blink, and it takes you off the rails in a flash, and you don't even know what happened. I'm sure you've experienced some of that. I would say probably everybody has. So my point is, until I realized that, wait a minute, before that, I used to create and the change was good. Now, here's what brought another piece of the puzzle that brought this all up. I look at everything that happens as, isn't it interesting that this is showing up, or this is so odd? So I reconnected recently with a friend of mine who was also a sales assistant when I was in that creation mode. Now, I haven't seen this person for 12 years. She and I were like sisters. We were extremely close, and we were coworkers. And I've mentioned how I've worked really well, like a well-oiled machine before, with my sales assistant, and I recently reconnected with her. She's moved to another continent, to another country, and so I haven't seen her personally in my space for 12 years. Now, the interesting thing about this connection is that I am really getting ready to go to another level that would be huge for me. And huge changes have still had the energy of, watch out. You're going to get into overwhelm. And if you get into that kind of overwhelm again, it could kill you. Listen to my belief and the strength of it. It's been gigantic. I've known it was there, but boy, until I got more into balance with other things, I wasn't moving a whole lot, and it was frustrating the bejeez out of me. Anyway, back to the story. So I met with this friend of mine, and she is the only person that really was present for me out of all the people that I know now and hang with and spend time with. None of the people that I know now knew that part of Joanne. They've heard me talk about her. They've seen some proof maybe from memorabilia or things that I have, but they didn't know me in that energy. She's the one person out of the people who disappeared. I'm talking through death and dying and, just discord of people who were in place in that time of my life. She was one of the significant people. And it was almost like a ghost was coming back into my life, because all those people have been gone or passed or left or whatever. And she came back in this time when I was thinking about how resistant I am and all the rest. So long story short, my awareness was, she remembers who I used to be. And seeing her reconnected myself, my internal energy with, I remember being in her energy, made me remember who I was in a feeling state, not just in a thinking, but in a feeling state. I connected with that energy of when I was powerful like that. So as I'm doing this resistance tapping now that came serendipitously, but I don't think that happens by accident. I've been asking, help me, help me. There's something here that's in my way. This showed up about resistance. And as I did my own tapping on it, what came was, I have only associated change with pain, suffering, and overwhelm, because that's what got linked and locked together. I have mentioned this several times, and I think it's worth repeating. When you have a song that is anchored to a happy memory, don't you automatically go to that, oh, God, I remember when, oh, that feels so good. The same thing happens with the negativity. And if you don't do something to unravel it, when it's a positive, you don't have to unravel it. It fits, it works, it's great. But when you have something that's a negative and you have associated that kind of link together, you've got to do something to change it. Work on the beliefs, work on the energy, change how your body reacts. Do some tapping, do some energy work of whatever kind, but you've got to shift that association. And that was a problem I was having. I still linked so much to change was evil for me. Change was bad. It brought so much pain and suffering. Why the heck would I want change? What I didn't catch was I created a lot of change for myself by my own creation prior to all of that block of events. I forgot. I forgot that that change can bring you in the flow, that that change can bring ease, that that change can bring lucrative money, that that change can bring things out of the woodwork. I never once goal set, and yet I sold more than 50% of what the company made with 4 other sales reps. I never once focused on a goal or number value. All I did was do what I knew worked. I put out into my mind and kept saying it. If others can do this, so can I. You don't think I can do this? Watch me. I'm going to get this account. I don't know how, but it's going to happen. My intent was so strong, and I didn't have something to counteract it, to say, that can't happen. Watch out, because quite honestly, the shit hadn't hit the fan yet. But when it did, whoa, my association and how I thought of change took a radical shift that became troublesome, worrisome, fearful, frightening, panicky. You mention a negative version and a negative word, and that's what I associated with change. And I'm so excited to bring this distinction. Now, I don't know if that will make an effect for you. And of course, now you follow up with tapping. I don't know if that will make a distinction for you, but it was gigantic for me. So I wanted to share this because when you start to change your beliefs, when you start to move that energy and you get out of the trauma or the tragedy or the things that you have linked that said, don't go there. It's going to be painful. Unless or until you change that, you will be stuck. Or that's how I have seen many, many clients. But when you change the beliefs and you change the energy, things start to, the flow just starts. And I think of all the tools and skills I've used in the past. When I was new to EFT, I changed my whole clientele by my intent and tapping. And magical things showed up. I mean, really magical things showed up. It was amazing. And that was my first inclination about how to design your life now. So I want to reinforce that if you need help in this arena, certainly there is tapping that I can help you with. You can contact me. We can do that together. And I may do another video as a part 2 of this just for the tapping. And I might just put that in my membership site for members. But my point is, if you get clear about what you want and you're in a good place, I'm telling you, the magic that can happen, it's really unbelievable. And I have a tool that can help you do that. It's called Design Your Life Now. It's on my website on trueauthenticpower.com. It's on the homepage of the website. If you scroll down to about a third, you can sign up. I'll also put the link below this video so that you can go right to the link. But I'm telling you, when you get into your own creation, it is so powerful. And if you've never had the feel of that, if you've never really paid attention that you do that you've done that in the past, you're just kind of oblivious to it right now. But boy, can it awaken when you get clear on what you want and tap through what's saying you can't do it, you can't have it. I wanted you to hear how we so unconsciously are running programs. When people talk about shutting down the words and changing your words, I am not about that at all. In fact, I am about listen to your words because they're going to lead you right to what you want. When I kept hearing myself saying, no, I don't want to do that. No, I can't do that. No, and it was across the board. I heard the resistance. I heard what I was doing, and it told me, follow that path of resistance because there's some gem there. There's something there of why you're resisting everything when you didn't used to be like that. And I kind of knew what it was related to, but I had no idea it would bring me to the awareness of the distinction of changes can be fabulous. And the ones that aren't fabulous, you've got to clear out from your belief system and your energy. I hope this helps. It's a different way maybe of looking at, 2 sides of a coin. but I'm all about paying attention to the signs and things that really stir you, trigger you, show up all of a sudden out of the blue. My friend showing up, visiting this country from another country that she hasn't been back to in 12 years, that was not by accident. And I am so grateful to the Creator and universe for showing that to me, making it so emotional that I had to pay attention to it. Not just because she was here and it was great to see her, but the message underneath it at this particular time, that wasn't by accident. That wasn't by accident at all. And I love how it's unfolding for me. So I hope this helps you. I like to give explanation because sometimes just tapping, you're not sure what you're tapping on. You've got to pay attention to different aspects of things. And if you need help doing that, you can download the Design Your Life Now download that I mentioned, or you can contact me, or I have other tools that are available for membership. Oh, there are so many tools to help us when we just open up. This is Joanne from TrueAuthenticPower.com, from Tapping.me, and the creator of Catapulting to Confidence. I wish you joy, and until our paths cross again, bye-bye for now.